Good boy. Good boy. Come here. You silly dog. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? You got a tough day going? Do you? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice. This one. Oh, both are nice, but we love that saucy red. Oh, nice. That tag is still in there for that dianthus. Look at that dianthus. Looks great, doesn't it? Nice. Okay. If you watched the Jim's Garden Game Plan video last week, we talked about all the plants that we had going in. The whole patio over there is absolutely covered. It's still got quite a few things on it as I'm filming this. Before you see this video, though, we'll have most of the rest of that done as well. We planted a ton of annuals in here, and I mean a ton of annuals, a ton of shrubs, new things. We took out stuff. It's been flipped over. If you're coming to the open garden, you're not going to believe actually how different it is. I've got a video going up on Tuesday that's just kind of a silent video with some of the just kind of fun things that are here in the garden that you'll see. It's just kind of a teaser for those that are coming to the open garden. We'll have other tour stuff in as well, and we're going to go through a lot of the new plants that have gone into the garden. What we have left, and I'm going to go through what we did this week, but what we have left here is quite a bit of pruning. So this next week, I think next Friday's video, you'll see a ton of pruning, and I think most of the weeding's done at this point. You know, we're almost at the point where we've knocked out, you know, I think we're 80-20 now. I think we're 80 on the done side and 20 on the to-do side at this point. The vegetable garden was a big piece that went in this week. We actually reduced the number of tomatoes that we've grown. I think it's just so easy to do more seed than you need. They come up, tomatoes are pretty easy to do from seed, and we overdo them quite a bit. I think we have 13 plants only this year. Bronze torch is definitely one of them. We always do bronze torch for sure. There are, they were ready to go in the ground. They're a little bit off colored, but they'll hit this compost and immediately green up and start growing pretty quickly. I planted them a little deeper. Tomatoes you can plant. I could plant those tomatoes 6 inches down in the ground if I wanted to. I just put them a little bit deeper. They weren't too leggy. They're able to hold themselves up. But if you've got to the point where yours have gotten so big that they're flopped over like that, you can plant them deeper down in the ground, and they'll just root out along the stems. Mike from Grow Wild gave us one that is a heirloom tomato, so we're excited for that one. What we do is we always do bronze torch because that's our absolute favorite tomato. I think it's still the best tomato we've ever put in this garden, and they hardly ever make it in the house. The ones that do, Steph freezes, and they freeze really well, and then she can make sauces and stuff out of them later. The tomatoes it's like good for everything. That's what I'll say about bronze torch. And then we try others. So it's nice to have somebody give us one that we had never tried before. Eggplant down the middle. I think there's, 3 or 4 different peppers, Steph, overall. There's 3 different peppers. We've got a few different color bells, and then jalapenos and one other hot pepper that I'm not remembering right this minute. So we went a little, and then potatoes went in as well. We've got potatoes from our last year's potatoes. So we'll, probably the time the open garden happens, sometime in there, usually our potatoes have died back to the ground. We can dig them, get potatoes, and then we put a few of them back in the ground, and then they actually overwinter in there, and then they start to grow in the early spring. And the group back there is on its way to producing potatoes. We put a new group in at the front. We jump started those. Now, we didn't show everything we jump started. We've done a bunch of jump start videos in the past where we start potatoes and dahlias and a bunch of things early in the season, and that way we can plant them in the ground. They're already growing. And then that was the other big thing that happened in the vegetable garden area is, number one, the cattle panels got slightly rearranged, and this cattle panel in the middle has cucumbers. We planted cucumbers along the base of it, so they're gonna have that middle cattle panel to grow on. The tomatoes are on the back cattle panel wrapping around. And we generally put the fence right around the cattle panels, the fence being the protective fence that you're probably going to have a hard time seeing here, which is for rabbits, okay? Got these slightly more decorative posts and then tied this rabbit fence around here. Won't stop deer, but it will stop rabbits. When we've had deer come in here in the past, we've actually have a shade cloth cover. We can drape over this a little bit, and that was helpful last year to at least slow the deer down in eating them. If you followed along, we put up a video on all the dahlias that we got in earlier in the season, and we jump started those in that video. All the varieties were in that video. I think maybe I'll post them here on the screen as well, that list from that video. Swan Island is the name of the company that we got them from, and that they went in the ground this afternoon, and we put them in the rabbit fence as well, because last year we had a terrible time with our dahlias. Our other perennials that are just outside of it really didn't have that big of an issue or outgrew the rabbit damage or whatever. But the dahlias last year, we just kept getting them eaten back, and they'd come back. You know, it's a tuber, just like a potato or whatever. And so it has a lot of stored energy down there, but there's only but so long before they are not going to come back anymore. So they're planted across the back. We got a Dahlia imperialis, which is a giant dahlia, tree dahlia, that our friends down in, that Rebecca and Chris down at Historic Columbia gave us while we were down there. So excited to have that in the ground. And so I think we're probably 80-20 on getting these plants planted. Tomorrow is container day, which will be before you actually see this video. So by the time you see this video, I'm hoping to be more like 90-10. So the tomatoes will grow up these cattle panels really quickly and be a screen, but these dahlias, most of them will get this big. Steph arranged them back here by the size that they get. So they'll be layered in here based on the size. That's the nice thing about that Swan Island catalog, is you get all the planting instructions. They need to be in lots of sun. This is one of the sunniest spots we have in the garden. We're right on the edge of where dahlias can stay in the ground, and so hopefully getting them in this early, they'll come back next year. I really don't want to be in the business of digging them. Most of our dahlias pretty reliably come back out here, except for if we lost a few last year just from rabbits over and over and over and over again on them. But weirdly, that's the first year it had happened. We've had rabbits out here the whole time. Don't know why all of a sudden it was dahlia time, but it was. So anyway, the dahlias are beautiful that we got from them. The tubers were perfect. Hopefully you saw that video, but really nice, really happy with those and excited about them. Dahlias are right at the top of my list of favorite plants, Steph's as well. Got the grapevine on the building a little bit more under control. Probably should have done it before it had leafed out over there, but you can now see the door. I did not prune the right-hand side of it because the there's a bird nest in there. Steph and I are willing to work, and we put in a lot of work out here. But I tell you what, birds will slow you down occasionally. We have so many birds out here, and we've got bluebirds in here. And I'm going to get out of here in just a second because we're disturbing them. It's literally as soon as I walk away, they'll be back in there. But we'll get the other side of that grapevine done at that time. I'm gonna have Steph, before I do get out of here, just back down the path in the native garden. And you can see this was a big giant accomplishment this week. We moved a ton of the plants. We had a ton of perennials that are all pretty small right now, but we had them stored basically, and we were waiting for spring here to roll around, waiting to get past our frost date. And then we transplanted them. It was still pretty dry at that time, and it still is dry now, but we got some rain in between, so everything was in a terrible wilt, and I was afraid that we had done this at a very bad time. But it looks like it's all going to be okay. It's cooler out here now than it was. There's more moisture in the soil than there was. Still a couple of things in wilt over there, but you can see the mulch job that we did out here this week as well. And you can see that contrast between those paths, those wood chip paths, and this triple shredded hardwood that we put in the beds. I think the contrast looks really good. You can see that from up above in the drone footage as well. a few videos you will have seen before this video goes up. One is we redid a lot of the front out at the street this season, moved a couple things around, added some more things. There's some Mediterranean things, South African things, Southwestern things, just heat tolerant plants. That's what we were going for there. And then again, you can see the contrast here between the triple shredded hardwood mulch, the compost that's on the annuals, and I think we're gonna put, you have the black color of the compost, which will end up getting covered up by the annuals, so this is probably irrelevant, but usually I'll add a little bit of pine bark over the top of it. It just is a good look, and it prevents some of the weeds that may come up super easy in this compost. Any weed seed that lands in that compost, it's coming up because it's just literally a perfect bed for weeds to come up. I don't think it's hard. I know it's hard to see out here, but we have these bamboo posts out here around our annuals with that rabbit fence, the same rabbit fence we used back there. The rabbit fence in the vegetable garden will stay up the entire season. As soon as these annuals are about touching one another, which will take maybe 3 weeks, you know, it's kind of funny because they will not do anything for like a day, 2, 3, 4. You can pull them out of the ground, you can see some new roots going on them, but by day 5 or so, you start to see new growth on them, and I can see it already happening. I see new growth here. I see new growth here on this eggplant. I see new growth here. It's amazing. We put them in, we cut them back, and then boom. We're gonna have a video on all the annuals, all the annual combos that Steph did. Haven't shot that video yet. We were gonna neaten this up just a bit. But I like the color change from that color to this color, which will be slightly different. And then the path with the wood chips. I just like those color combination changes, and it's all organic. It's all material that these plants can use. It's all material that's holding moisture in place. It's all material that has nutrients in it that, as it gets broken down, can feed the plants as well. So, you know, I like that. I like the look of it. Again, it's not going to be for everybody. A lot of folks would want to put, you know, put some sort of edging across here to keep this little bit of, you know, wood from going into that bed, or keep this hardwood mulch for coming in there or whatever. They just want it neater, and that's totally fine. You know, ours is just a more naturalistic look to it. I say we put a dent in the patio, but you know, there's still a lot. There's still a lot to do. Most all the shrubs and everything are in the ground, but still, again, we're doing the containers tomorrow, and then these will get distributed around the garden. Steph is in the process of putting together combinations. We have a lot of random plants because we just, you know, grab something here, grab something there, and, you know, with, oh, this will be perfect in a container. But then that doesn't mean that it actually matches anything once you start putting containers together. But she's pretty good at putting interesting combos together, and we're, you know, so anyway, these will get distributed out in the garden. So by the time by the time next Friday rolls around, I really need to be into this projects, the big plant projects, of getting some control. I don't like to mulch and then do this. I'm gonna make a mess out here. But we put an extra maybe 2 yards of mulch in the corner. It was 20 cubic yards of mulch this time. The first time we ever mulched this entire space, I think it was 18 cubic yards. It went all the way down to 8 as all the plants started to fill in and everything started to get covered. Then we did that native garden, and you can see how far the plants are apart from one another because it's also new. We have lots of space over there to add more plants, and those plants are going to get much larger. So I expect that 20 to drop off pretty quick, but I also ordered a couple extra yards, maybe 3 extra cubic yards of mulch, just because I know I'm going to be doing some damage out here. I'm going to be trampling through some things. We have some more things to plant. I'm sure it's a month and a half before the open garden, so I'm sure more things are going in. I know us well enough to know that we'll be doing a little bit of damage here and there, and I want it to be super neat. I want it to be something, you know, if you're coming to the open garden that you haven't, you know, you can't see just any old place. And there's a lot of new, interesting plants out here. Again, that's going to be an upcoming content in the next week or two. So there you go. I think, would you say we're 80-20, Steph? 80% done, 20% left to go on all the planting and the changes that are happening in the garden?
85, the mulch.
85, because the mulch, yeah, like she just said, the mulch and the wood chips, of course, are such a massive part of all that work. And Steph's son Miguel came and helped us, especially in these big open areas. He's youngster, and and helped us knock a lot of that out pretty quickly as well. So that was nice, because we're definitely feeling a little bit underwater from the amount of material. We just spent the whole winter driving around going, hey, look at this, this will be awesome. Look at this will be awesome. And then you look at it and go, wow, that's a lot. But again, it's almost tackled. We look forward to seeing you guys. There's a few tickets left for Friday evening, a few tickets left for Saturday morning, lots of tickets for Saturday afternoon. The Ralston tickets, I think, are closed out, but the Juniper Level Botanic Garden will be open on the Friday of our open garden. I'm putting the dates up here on here, but you can go over to our website. And there's been a couple questions about whether how Juniper Level, it's not on their website. This is not a normal open weekend for them. They're having open weekends. Their normal open weekends, there's like 400-500 people there at one time. This is an actual opportunity for you guys in a very small group to go over there and tour the garden and shop and everything else you want to do without being in an overwhelming crowd, and you'll have a parking place and all those kinds of things. So I'm hoping you guys will take advantage of that, because it's one of the most incredible gardens in the country, and has an incredible amount to see in that garden. So thank you guys so much for following along. We'll be back next Friday with another Jim's Garden Game Plan video, and hopefully I will have tamed a few things by then.